interview. First, what is Sea Shepherd exactly?
Sea Shepherd is an anti-postal organization that is working on catching people that are doing things in places where we don't want them to go. So the most famous thing that we do is anti-rape campaigns.
Talk about it. Can you tell me a bit how the heck it goes with it? How did Sea Shepherd begin with Paul Watson?
Yeah, Paul Watson is a very famous member of our organization. He actually founded Sea Shepherd in 1977 when Greenpeace decided to go more into the lobby, into the politics. And Paul Watson said, you know, I'm not going to watch people doing things, I'm going to actually stop them. And he couldn't get people for that in Greenpeace, so he said, I want to start Sea Shepherd.
And what is the difference between the two, Sea Shepherd and Greenpeace?
Well, Sea Shepherd is a lot smaller still. The most things that we do now is actually at sea. Because we believe that when the oceans we die, so we have to protect the oceans, and the only place that we can do that we think is in the oceans itself. And that's actually what Sea Shepherd is different from Greenpeace.
And you have a specific logo. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, the logo we have is a lot of people think we're pirates, and actually we are. Because we think with pirates, you can catch pirates. They do things that you don't want, and you have to be stronger than them. So you have to use tactics, you have to do things that probably other people or governments don't do, like the army or police. So you have to do other things.
And the campaigns, so you told me already about some campaigns in Galapagos, I think
yeah.
That was your first.
Yeah, my first encounter with Sea Shepherd was in 2008 when they worked in the Galapagos National Park. Charles Darwin wrote his evolution theory there. I was working on radio communication for the National Park and the Marine police, just to make sure that the areas were protected. And one of my biggest projects there was making a vessel tracking system, so that we could see where the boats are actually in the Galapagos. And so they asked that knowledge from you working on boats, can you do that on our ships as well? So last year, October, I went to Australia, to Cairns, to prepare the Sam Simon, which is our new ship. And eventually I went on a campaign to Vatican for Barca.
And could you tell me more about that, about going to Antarctica? How long does it took? What did you do there? How many people were involved?
Yeah, in total there were 4 ships involved with Sea Shepherd against 6 ships of the Japanese Indian whaling fleet. And the purpose of the thing going there was to stop them killing whales. On the 60 degrees south, it's a whale sanctuary, and Japan says we want to do research there, and they think that they can catch like 1,000 whales, 1,035, and we say you can't catch any because it's a whale sanctuary, and whaling, commercial whaling is prohibited since 1986. So there's no reason for you to go down south, and well, it was asked politely, and eventually they just go. They just go. They don't care. There's no country that actually goes there to stop them.
So no UN country or the European country is against opposing this?
Actually, there are countries opposing to it, but when you say, we actually invited them. We said, can you please come over? Because we are just a bunch of volunteers, you know, good-willing people, who are not very skilled. And they just don't come, because everybody has something like, oh, that's the plan, you know, that's a trade partner of ours, we don't want to offend the Japanese people. And so they decide, well, you can do your thing in Antarctica, they don't involve us. So even Australia, who has a court case running against the Japanese, they don't come. So we're basically on our own.
And why is it so important for the Japanese? Do you know their opinion about the whale hunting?
Yeah, well, they say they're doing research. Actually, I think it is, because one of the biggest problems that they have is that there's no natural resources around Japan anymore. The seas are empty, and they have 130 million people that eat fish. So what they need to do, and we see them doing that in the Pacific, is getting all the time by such small countries. They want to buy fishing rights. And for they just want to see what's there and to see if they can exploit it just for food, which I think is very bad. Because wildebeest is very bad. It's not having magazines. It's poison actually. You shouldn't even want to feed people with it, but they still do.
And is there also a plan to bring this out in the media, or just the actions they are brought in the media? That's the main thing, or are there other things?
Most people know us actually from a series that is on Discovery Channel or Animal Planet in other countries. It's called Doelen, and that helped us a lot because then people actually see what we do. We're actually there and we're doing something. We use a small boats. We put our boats in between. There's been some very bad collisions last year where I was on the high with the sandwich with the brand, and that is going to go out, and then people can actually see that they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about animals, but they also don't give a shit about people. They just want to do what they want. And it's good that it's becoming more and more known what actually is going on because it's disgusting.
And is there actually a Japanese section of Sea Shepherd?
Yeah, that's a good question. We would love to have that. What you see, it starts to develop, but it's very, very difficult. There's also a place called Taiji where they hunt for dolphins. And there is a lot of opposition about it, but when you speak it out in Japan, you get problems. You get problems or your family gets problems. It's a closed country, it's not really democracy.
And
big.
Are there other countries who are doing this whaling hunt, or is it only Japan?
The big whaling is only taking place in Antarctica. There are some countries whaling like Norway and Iceland, but it's on a very small scale. There's also some Pacific islands that do some work, but the majority is caught by the Japanese. So we think if we can knock those people off, that they stop, then eventually everybody will stop.
But you focus on the oceans, but more focus lies on the whales, or do you cover the oceans more in general?
When you read things and when you get more and more knowledge about it, you can actually see how bad it is. Just understand, we are a group of volunteers, and there's only one place where you can spend your money. And we think at Sea Shepherd, the way we operate, we can be the most effective in those campaigns. So we are in Taiji present for the Overland. We do something in the Faroe. We have been to the Mediterranean Sea for bluefin tuna, which is also a big problem. We are present in Namibia against the seal hunt. But it's a limited amount of things you can do because we only run by donations. People like you will say, okay, we believe what you guys are doing is the right thing to do. And the people donate money, or they donate a ship, or they just buy merchandise. Which, by the way, you can buy in the tent.
So this is how the funding is done. That's only by people buying things or donating money. No government involved. No big companies who donate.
No, we actually don't want to be depending on big companies because then we're also a little bit wishy-washy. Is it all okay? We don't want to be bought. So we only accept, for instance, donations from Rush, which is a vegan organization. Those things we do accept, but no money from big companies. No. It's just people.
And actually, I got to know Sea Shepherd through listening to hardcore bands, especially Ignite. Are you familiar with that? That it's in hardcore, between hardcore gigs, this is very known organization, Sea Shepherd. Are you aware of that?
Well, what we see is that hardcore people in general have power. And they are a little bit anarchists too, you know. They don't accept everything for granted, and just because it's there, you should accept. And I think that's where Sea Shepherd aligns very well, because we also don't accept anything that's happening. You know, just saying we're going to do it, it's not okay. So we're actually very happy with that support.
And there's also bands speaking about this on stage, or how do I have to look at it? Or bands who are also feeding the campaigns, like Beta does with some bands, or how does Sea Shepherd work?
They were always looking for exposure, so animal planet world wars is one of them, but actually we want to be everywhere. So I think more and more, because of the problems we have in the States, and other court cases as well, we have to get money from all places, so we do everything that we can.
I was specifically talking about bands supporting Sea Shepherd.
It's a Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think it's the most. Savio Road is a very good and they expose Sea Shepherd as well on stage.
And was that about that court case?
Yeah,
is it interesting enough to tell, or maybe to technical?
Well, in a nutshell, there are three stooges in the United States that think that they can rule in the whale sanctuary, which is not theirs, about ships that are not American, run by non-Americans, and they say you cannot chase Japanese. And that's ridiculous, because we can, and we actually did this. So we only ship that.
And then there is also Paul Watson, who was not in prison, but he's somewhere on a boat. Can you explain more?
There's somewhere a bonus charge about him doing some things in Costa Rica, and that eventually led to his arrest in Germany. When it became clear that Japan was more or less behind it, they forced Costa Ricans to go there. Then it was likely that Paul Watson was going to be handed over to Japan, and that was the moment that he said, you know, I'm not going to wait till I'm there anymore, because they will probably never release me. So that's when he fled. And it was a beautiful moment, I can tell you. We were on the boat, and in the middle of the ocean we came across the Steve Irwin, and then he opened the door of the bridge, and he was actually there. And the Japanese were so offended by that, because they said, how is it possible that that guy, the whole world is looking for him, how can he be on the Sea Shepherd ship? And he was there. And I tell you, that was an amazing victory. So you can put anything out to somebody, but in the end, people are stronger, you have friends, you know, passion you can't kill. That's the thing. And he's passionate all his life.
You talked to him personally also?
I beat him with poker. Yeah. No, I've been sitting next to him. He's a very inspiring person that actually his whole life he put on the line for whales. Since he was young, he's only doing that. So the man, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a real inside. He's a very inspiring person.
And earlier you told me that the problem is when the fishes are fished out of the ocean. That's where the problems begin with nature. Can you explain that more? Why is it so important to preserve the oceans?
Yeah, that's what some people say. You know, why are we so focused on whales or dolphins? And basically, we're not. What we say is you have to keep your biodiversity in the ocean. Every single species has its role. And what you see happening is that commercial fisheries, in general, take too much. So you only want one species, and 80 or 90% of the catch is actually different species. And that's why you ruin everything. And we think that should stop. You should actually, there's only like 10% of fish left compared to 100 years ago. And that is really going wrong. That's absolutely, we can see that coming. I think in my lifetime you will see that.
And is it, can we turn it back, the situation, or is it, that's maybe a tricky question, is it already too late?
Well, there are always things that you can do. If you can turn it back, I don't think so. The species have already gone extinct. So that's what you can't do. But what you can do, and this conservation, is trying to keep what you have, at least, or hand over a better world to your children than we received it. And that should be our mission. We should really make an effort to make it better. And that's why I volunteer. That's why I spend my time. Because I strongly believe that everybody deserves a beautiful place.
Actually, are there people here who want to ask a question? Because I can give you the mic. Yeah, you want? Yeah, okay.
Oh, I have a lot of respect for Sea Shepherd and what Sea Shepherd does. Is there any effort to engage with the people who work on the fishing boats that come from Japan? Or what is the social composition of the boats that come from Japan? Is it big companies or small fishermen? And is there any way that you can engage with those people who actually work on the boats?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is government supported, so the government of Japan is taking care of the funding of the boats, but the boats themselves are from a private company, which actually is being paid only by the Japanese government. So what you see is they strongly believe that what they are doing is the right thing. And that makes it very difficult to talk to people, because if they really believe that they are doing the right thing, what do you say? You know, the only thing that you can do is like, you think you don't, and 90% of the world population thinks that we are right, and if you think that you are right, then we have to stop you. We actually have to go there. So I would love to sit down with whalers and try to explain why it is wrong. But the thing is, you will never get there, because a lot of them also know that it's not okay, but for them it's just a job. That's why a lot of tsunami funds that raised money after the tsunami and sent money to Japan, it was actually used like 30 million to put in the whaling fleet. For them it's work. And that makes it very difficult. Any other?
Other people here?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wholly agree with your point, but on all these missions you've been on, have you ever had a feeling of crossing the line?
That depends on how you look at it. I think I never crossed the line, because I'm always into conversation, I'm always into listening to people. But yes, if you stop them in a way like we did last year, and then you really have collisions and things like that, probably other people will say you crossed the line. But you know, when you put your boat next to a tanker and they run into you, it's like running into a parked car. Am I crossing the line then? I don't think so. I do respect people as much as I do respect animals. And what we hope is that they do the same too. And unfortunately they don't.
And maybe to conclude some actions you participated on and your experience about that?
Yeah, one of the most shocking thing I had was last year in Antarctica when they actually wanted to refuel below 60 degrees. And we said to them, you know, if you want to refuel, you have to sink us. Which was not an invitation, it was just a statement that we made to say, okay, we are not going to move. And then they just pushed their big factory ship, which is like 16 times bigger than us, and to the oil tanker, which is like 24 times bigger than us. So you've probably seen the footage on television. And that's amazing. We never thought that they would go that far. So it was a level of aggression, and it was shocking to us. And if there's any time in my life that I found would be over, it was that. Eventually, when the ship was tossed over like 30 degrees, we had to send out a mayday, which is the strongest message you can send. Then really you have to stop. And that's when they stopped. If they would have gone on, they would have sunk us. 35 people on board. And we never expected them to go that far. So that was the most weird thing. What it did to the crew, you probably think that we were scared, but at the end of the day, we looked at each other and we said, okay, we survived, we stood our ground because they couldn't refuel. And actually it gave us energy. Because we said, you know, you wanted to refuel, you couldn't. So even we had damage, and even we were full of adrenaline, it was like, well, bring it on, you know, because we can do it. So when the second time they came in, we were next to the oil tanker, and they just sandwiched us. We had the same, we were looking to each other, okay, can we stand this? Yeah, we can. So we did. So we eventually, at the end of the day, when everything comes quiet again, you cannot believe there's only ice, birds, and animals on the ice, boys are looking like, oh, you guys are insane. But at the end of the day, you look at each other and say, okay, we did it again. So we thought, okay, bring it on. If you want to go, you can get it. So actually nobody was scared. We had the opportunity to leave the ship. They actually asked us, you know, if you're scared, you don't feel confident, go, you can go to another ship and we make sure that ship is not part of the action. And none of the crew members said. So they all stayed and we said, if we go down, we go down together. And that's amazing. That is passion you cannot kill. There's no way that a commercial company or a country can kill that. It's impossible because people do it by heart.
But you need to get trained to go on a boat for several weeks and months.
Yeah, that's what we do. You know, but you don't see Will Wars because sometimes they put you in the clothes you want to do. But we have a lot of training, fire drills, rescue drills, lounge. We have practice with our survival suits. We are doing a lot of practices with small boats, how to maneuver, how to do the communication. So we're getting more and more professional because it's very dangerous. 15 minutes in the water and you're dead.
Yeah.
It's Antarctica, it's commercial.
Okay, last thing I heard that Peter Hammersmith was going to Belgium, but I